Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining Create with Dee. I'm Dee Slater, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Welcome to my channel. Today I have a wow card. I mean, it is wow, wow, wow. And it's, don't tell them it's not really that bad. We can make it. We can. Look how cool this is. Oh, I love it. I'm calling it, I think it's probably known by other names, but this is a Gatefold panel pop-out card. I think it's perfect for this time of the year and any occasion on it. And today's class is featuring the Nest of Winter designer or suite of products from Stampin' Up! From the 2024 mini catalog for the holiday catalog. As always, as you come on, if you'd like to say hi and where you're from, I'm from Northeast Indiana, Kendallville, which is a little bit north of Fort Wayne, Indiana. And please, if you're watching live, please feel free to comment. Let me know where you're watching from. And as always, I'd really appreciate if there's anything in this video that you'd like to give it a thumbs up, a like, and please do comment on that. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to jump right in to making this awesome wow gatefold panel card. Let me turn the camera around. Get the one screen that we want to have. Okay, there we go. All right, so for this, let me just kind of share with you what I'm using here today. Get all of my goodies in. Like I said, we're going to be using the Nest of Winter Designer Series paper. So many fun wintry things. So it's definitely can be used for the holidays, but it can be for any of your winter cards that you have as well. So that's nice on it. Also in this suite, the coordinating stamp set and bundle, the wintry treetops. So I'll be using that to coordinate with it as well. All right. So let's go ahead and we'll talk about the different things that we need for this card. Our card base, which today I'm using Cherry Cobbler color. We're going to need piece of our traditional 8.5 by 5.5, and we're going to score it along the 8.5 side at 2 1/8 from each end. Cardstock or coordinating cardstock colors. We're going to need 4, I'll call it 4 panels of 1 7/8 by 5 1/4 on that same color cardstock, and I'm using Early Espresso. Also 4 by 5 1/4. 2 of them at 1 and 1 by 5 scored at 1 1/4, 2 1/2, and 3 3/4, and 2 of them at 2 by 2 1/4. And I'll go over each one of these as we use them. And then the designer paper, again, I'm using Nest of Winter for the panels at 1 5/8 by 5. For the background, 3 3/4 by 5, and 2 panels of 1 3/4 by 2. So if you want to take a screenshot of that, feel free to do so. Okay. All right, let's get in making this card. I've got a lot of it done ahead of time so we can concentrate on the mechanics of it. Okay, so again, this is Cherry Cobbler, 5.5 by 8.5, and I've scored it at 2 1/8 from each direction. So for gatefolds, what we do is like we make a gate. So we're going to fold in on those score lines. And I did want to share with you, if those do not quite meet in the center, go ahead and try it in the other direction, because one of the ways will make it meet a little easier on it. And then in here, what I like to do is I'm taking my bone folder, and when I am going to really like get a crisp edge, I'm kind of also going to pull this inward just a little bit. And then that also helps meet those panels in the middle. Okay, so we have that. So let's go ahead, and I think what we'll do is we'll put down our designer paper first. We've got a lot of gluing here. Okay, let me go ahead and show you the card here in more detail. I think I skipped over what you guys probably really wanted to see. So here's the gatefold, and when you open it up, kind of do it in slow motion, two panels pop out for a really interesting and unique 3D look. And so here's what the mechanisms look like on the inside. It looks really intimidating, and quite honestly, sometimes when I see these folds or new folds for me, I kind of think, ooh, that looks a little complicated, but really it's not bad at all. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. And because I wanted the whole panel decorated, this is why there's on the inside, to kind of complete this wooded look, really decorating all of the panels. Okay, so for the, again, this is for the panels, blah, 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 blah. Get my tongue is tied here today. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do the inside. So this is like two of the panels that are for the designer paper Nest of Winter that are 1 5/8 by 5, and then the center panel is 3 3/4 by 5. A tip if you want these to all look like a scenery, which I did not do here, and by scenery I mean that like it flows right into each other. You can start by cutting a strip of your 5-inch and then come in from one of the sides. Whoops. And what we want to do is, see if I can get these lined up in the right way here. Okay, so then what you can do is you can cut first at 1 7/8, and then slide that over, cut that at 3 3/4, and then cut your last strip at 1 5/8 again. And then in that way, you'll have a continuous scene. So I hope that makes sense, but that's how you can do it. And so on your trimmer, that's how I would do it. And if you don't want to do that, that's fine too. I didn't do it on the other one. I don't think that you can even tell. All right, so we're going to go ahead and decorate the inside panels here first. So again, getting those panels layered on our early espresso. Using liquid glue. We'll get those down. At the time of the video, it's Halloween, so happy Halloween for those of you that enjoy the holiday and everything. It's kind of odd in our city, the trick-or-treat night, they normally do it on a Friday night, but just how it falls this year, the trick-or-treat is actually on, I think, November 1st. It's this Friday. So it's kind of odd that it's not quite, or that, I guess that would be this, yeah, tomorrow night. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll put our panels on the inside. So again, the Nest of Winter, it's got some wonderful wintry birds. Has kind of like this birch tree background that I'm using here. Okay, now let's see if I can, okay, see how like here's this little bird right here, and that's how I had that panel cut together. So this way, that's gonna look like it flows all the way through. If you had a real scenic designer paper that you're using that you could really tell where it is, that would look really awesome. I honestly can't wait to make more of these. Kind of had, I hope everybody's doing good. As I'm putting these down, I'll kind of share with you my weekend. I got to spend time with one of my dearest friends and best friends, Joan, and she lives in another town, and we just really had a great time. And the time that I went there, normally I go over like the weekend, like a Friday to Sunday. And this time, because of our schedules, I went from Sunday to Tuesday. And I tell you what, I can't tell if I'm coming or going. I don't know what day of the week it is or anything. And it's like somebody said, the good news is that, you know, all of a sudden the weekend will be here. But okay, so now I'm going to do the front panels, as you can see here. And I did the same thing with this. I cut my, you know, this pattern, I cut this at 5 inches, and then I came in with my trimmer and cut one of the sections at 1 5/8, and then scooted it down to 1 5/8 again and cut it again. And this way, again, you can kind of see that the patterns flow together. So I'm going to put that on the front side. And you can see here now that, like, as I'm getting some bulk in there, that this doesn't quite meet like you might want it to. And again, we'll come back in with the bone folder and we'll really, give that a press. Okay, so I want to make sure I'm using the right one. Okay, this one goes over here. It's kind of nice to have some of these winter cards that can go Merry Christmas, or, you can send them for the holidays, but then after the holidays are over, you can send them, you can use the same paper. It's not quite so holiday-ish that you can't use it. Okay, so as you can see here, because I've got bulk on the inside, this is kind of popping open a little bit when it's closed. So I can go ahead and I'm holding this down, and again, you can kind of pull that in. So if that, if that bothers you that that's not closed, just kind of force the paper in. Okay, so this would be a traditional gatefold, super cute, right? Okay, but we're going to make this into a panel pop out. So how we're going to do that is we're going to need 2 pieces of cardstock. I'm using the Early Espresso so that it matches. And this is 1 by 5, and I have it scored in fourths. So that would make it 1 1/4, 2 1/2, 3 3/4. And we're going to need 2 of these because we're going to have 2 pop-up panels. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and fold these. And there we go. What I like to do is just to make sure I have them trimmed right, I just put, kind of make sure I have the ends match up. So we're just going to go ahead and fold these, and I'm just making sure that I cut those right. Okay. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to put our pop-up mechanism, one here on the left side and one on the right. And how these are going to go down is we're going to put adhesive on the back. I'm going to explain it first, and then we'll do it together. Adhesive on the back. And then you can see this would be the pop-up here. So we're going to put adhesive here so that it's on the score line. Put this down, put adhesive on again, and then close it. Okay, let's do that together. And you know what? Let me grab something real quickly. To get it so that it's approximately the same on both sides, I grabbed a ruler, and in this, since I'm using such a dark thing, I've got a white gel pen. And I'm just going to make a little tick mark at the 1 inch from the score line here. You won't see it because, it's going to be covered up. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite end, but from the bottom. And I'm just going to make a little tick mark. That way I kind of have a target spot to go with. All right, so on the back side of our 5-inch strip, I'm going to put some liquid glue there. I would recommend liquid glue so that you have a little wiggle room on it. And I want this to go right where that score line or that dot is. And then just kind of close it to make sure that, it's not interfering with the score line. And then we're going to close this and put adhesive here. And then we're going to close this whole panel. And this is where you might need to scooch it back just a little bit. There we go. Because again, we don't want it to interfere with the score line. And then we'll open that back up, and oh my gosh, look, we've got a pop-up mechanism now. Okay, so I'm going to get my bone folder in there and get that good contact. And I'm going to put it down. Just make sure. Might not have had it clear over there enough with the glue. There we go. That looks so much better. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing on the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and on the back side of one of the end panels, come in and do that. And then here's our guide. I'm going to go up just slightly from it. Here's my score line. I'm going to go off to the side just a little bit, make sure that it can fold. Okay, close it. On the far end panel, put our glue. Okay. And I'm going to make sure that's squared up. Okay, that looks nice. It looks like it's from there. Now I'm going to close the opposite side. And we'll open that up. Okay, looking great. All right, so now we've got these two pop-up mechanisms that we can add embellishments on. So let's go ahead and let's do that. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. So what I did with this designer paper, there are two dies in there that will die cut out two of the bird images from this paper here. So ahead of time, what I did is I trimmed out the two bird images that has the die cut, and I'm using one of each on that. And then I'm also, let's see, oh my goodness, did I not? I've got to do some other cutting here. Oh my goodness. And then from the die cut, I've got 4 of the little birch images on that. And let me do some quick cutting here for us. I've got to get some other panels made for us real quickly here. Just grab these in my trimmer. Okay. So we're also going to need, and I had it on the measurements, but I didn't have it prepped here for us. Let's see if I, okay. So we're going to need 2 pieces of early espresso cut at 2 by 2 1/4. Just making sure that that was there. And I tell you what, I need some new cutting blades. I thought I had some in there, but I didn't. Then we're going to take the same pattern paper that we used throughout, and we're going to need 2 of them at 1 3/4 by 2. So I'm actually going to cut this at 4 first, and then drop this over to our 2. Okay. Now I'm ready for us. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and, oh, I think I did those wrong. Hang on, hold please. I did 1 1/2 instead of 1 3/4. There we go. Much better. So 1 3/4 by 2. Live is live, right? Okay, now I think we're in business. Okay, so now we'll go ahead and make those layers there. Because these are going to go on our pop-up panel pieces. Let's see, where's my other good one? Here we go. I still didn't cut those quite right, but I'm going with it. We are going with it. Okay. Right, so now what we want to do, and here's where the mechanism parts that we just want to be a little careful with. And that is that when these are we put anything on here, when this is closed, we want to make sure that that stays within the realm of the panel here when it's closed. So when you're sizing up things to put on here, we do not have this whole area here. You have about half of it. So you just want to make sure that you stay within this frame on either side. So I'm going to go ahead and put these other panels down here. So we'll do one at a time. So again, we want to get our liquid glue on that panel. And here's where you have a little wiggle room on it. If you wanted to, you know, you can make this a little higher. Like you don't have to necessarily center it. So like if I want to, you know, I could even drop down this far if I wanted to. So you can have a little play with that. And this is where I like liquid glue too, because I kind of put it down and then I can see where it's at. Okay, that looks good. And you want to just make sure that's clear over to the edge. All righty. And we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Again, these don't have to be necessarily the same shape. It's just that do a little test so that when these are both closed, that they don't overlap and you can't close it. But I'm just kind of showing you a basic version of it, and then I'm sure you can go to town with it with playing with different sizes. Okay, same thing. I'm going to go ahead and kind of close this. I can adjust it just a little bit. Okay. All right, so now when it's closed, you can kind of give it a good press. Now we've got our pop-up panels. And I like the idea on this particular one here because I'm having a bird that's going to sit up here in the trees here in a little bit. I really liked the idea of all of these panels being the same. So it all looked like, you know, some woods. But, you know, of course, you can mix and match and do different designs with it. All right. So that's the basic layout on it. I hope that you like that and that was easy to follow. But now we'll go ahead and decorate. And again, I'll kind of keep talking about some things to watch out for. So let's focus on the inside because, you know, that's where I want to say the tricky part is, if there is any tricky part. All right, so there's the one bird image that I cut out. The stamp set does have where if you run out of the birds or you want different colors or do different color schemes, you can go ahead and copy those images and, you know, and color them and still use those images even when you're out of the bird paper. I did a project that had different colors on them. So, you know, it's kind of nice to have that have that option. Alrighty. So I'm going to go ahead and do this first one here. Okay, so you know how I told you that my blade needed trimmed, and I think you can kind of see some of the fuzzies here. This is a trick that I do. I'm going to just do what you can wet a towel or whatever, or you can just kind of lick your fingers and smooth that out. I won't lick that on camera here. Okay, so I'm going to put this bird on this panel here, but when it's closed, I'm within the frame, so I could take this bird clear over to the edge, you know, so I could take it clear over here if I wanted to. But what I was going to do at first, I was thinking about putting this image on the inside, and this is a perfect example why we want to test it. So I thought, oh, I'll have this cute dual set when you open it up. However, when I tested it, as you can see, it's way over the score line here. So there's no way to keep this closed and send the card, or even, you know, unless you gave it flat like this. Because when it's open, it would be fine. But to close it and send it, it's not fine on it. So like no matter how I did this, I couldn't use this bird image. So this bird image is going to go to the front. However, when I tested this, bingo, right? It's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to first put I think I'll put the little bird down first. I love these with the little berries. They're so cute. So I'm going to get some regular size dimensionals. And I'm going to use 2 of them. And we'll get our inside decorated on the panel. then our front won't take us very long. So I'm not seeing any comments. I'm seeing plenty of views. So hopefully if anybody's making a comment, sorry, I'll get it. I'll touch base with you after the video. Okay, so I've got our little image there doing a test. And now I'm going to put 2 of our little greenery. And it's nice in the die set. There's a, I'll call it like a right and left, or at least 2 different sizes of these. So I'm just going to add a little greenery. And here I'm hanging it over, and it's touching base perfectly here. So see, it's like I can have this hang over, but when I close it, I'll be safe. So I'm going to put a couple there. All righty. Let's get that one tucked under. And as long as you stay within the frame of your layering panel piece on the top, you'll be fine. Okay, so he or she's all ready to go. Now I'm going to stamp a sentiment on here, sending thanks. And the ink color that I'm using today is Cherry Cobbler. And I'm just grabbing some scrap, basic white. And I'm going to just do a little fussy cutting, which means I'm just going to trim around the edges. So I'm just going to grab this. So if there was any, dies or anything that you were maybe wanting to use for the sentiment, I just always say, like, grab the shape first and make sure that it is going to fit when you close it. I'm just going to kind of round that off a little bit. Easy peasy to trim that. And I'm going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on that. And the sentiment that I'm doing, it's going to stay right onto this panel, so I know that it's going to be just fine when I close it. Sending thanks and much love. And my sample, I didn't have these little branches on it, but I thought, well, I'm going to add some of these branches to this part of it too. Okay, so, and obviously the same way, like if I would put some this way, see how that would bunch up and that wouldn't close. So you kind of have to stay in the frame from this box inward. So when it's closed, you'll be all set. Let's see here. I'm going to put something like this. And then just make sure that those images aren't overlapping. Okay, I think that we're good. So now we can do a little test. So cute. Do you guys like it? Let me know. All right, let's decorate the front of our card. And ahead of time with Early Espresso, I've got the stylish shapes, circles, and I just did that with some scrap, of each of those. Again, staying with the theme of using the birch paper on the designer paper throughout, really embracing that designer paper that's part of the set. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to put the dimensionals here on the circle. And we'll get those. And then I'll go ahead and put our die cut bird images. Again, you could always definitely stamp. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this to the front of our gatefold, just adding dimensionals on what's going to be the left-hand side only. I want to have our birds over there. Okay, so let's see here, making sure I've got it on the left side. So then you can decorate the front of your gatefold if you've ever done gatefolds before, just kind of in the traditional manner. I'm going to put this one here so it's right in the center. And don't let this concern you, is because we added a lot of bulk on the inside. And so it's not going to line up because it's just too much bulk in there. So don't, don't fret too much that something was wrong, because that's just how it's going to be. All right, so we've got our cute birds on the top. And now for the sentiment. Again, I was telling you that I went to see a friend who lives in a different state, and we had so much time together, and I just wanted to thank her for her hospitality. So this was another one that, a friend like you brings me happiness, sending thanks and much love. So here's a thank you that you could do. You could also switch this out with any holiday sentiments that you might have, but I'm going to go ahead and use everything in that bundle on the wintry treetops. And so this is a friend like you brings me happiness. I have a piece of 1x4 basic white, and I'm going to stamp on that. And then I'm going to layer that on a piece of early espresso. That's 4 1/4 by 1 1/4. And I got dimensional backings floating around all over the place here. And on this one, on this layering piece, I'm just going to glue this down. And because when this is closed, it would be our, 4 1/4. So this sentiment strip's going all the way across the front panel. So on the left-hand side again, I'm just making sure that I don't go more than halfway. And I can kind of tuck this up underneath this just a little bit. Okay, kind of give that just a moment to put into place or to set. So that's kind of getting nice and secure. I'm going to get the berries, cherry cobbler and pearl adhesive back berries. I think at the time of this video, last I checked, they're back in stock. Absolutely love, love, love these. And I'm going to use the clear on the front. So let's see here. We can put some clear. I like the clear on top of the berries. It kind of gives it a little sparkle. Let's see. So I got some here. Here's some berries that are showing on, this particular paper pattern where that went out over here. So I just find where the berries are at and put those triple berries on there. Oops. Let's pick these up. And as you can see, I've got all of my red single berries used up, but I kind of liked the idea of having just some of these clear ones, like kind of white on white, kind of makes it seem like a crisp, snowy scene. Then I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to add some of the clear berries up here. Oh no, here's what I did. I've got some of these triple berries here, and I'm just going to put a little bit on our greenery. Kind of give a nod to the berries that the bird is holding. And then can use up my last ones, which I'm so excited. It's like that just means that, my investment in those are, used all the way. And I just feel really good about that. And I'm taking these clear ones, and I'm going to add some sparkle to some of the panels here. There we go. Okay, let's take a look at what we did. All right, so here's our card here today. So when we open it up, we have these pop-out panels, and then when your recipient gets them and they set them up, they've got this 3D look for it. And then I didn't do it on the sample here, but what I would do is add a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 white cardstock. And then this is where I would make some personal notes for it. But then this is our project. Let me turn my camera around. And so I hope that you liked learning how to make this gatefold pop-out panel card. And if you do make it, please let me know. I love to to hear from you. And if you want to, you can go on my Create with D Facebook page and share any of your versions of this creation with you. And as always, I invite you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And please give me a thumbs up or a like or a comment if there's anything on this video that you did enjoy. Thanks for watching, everybody, and happy crafting. Bye-bye.